Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Board Game Geek Show for February 21st, 2020. I'm your host, Alden, and thankfully, I am joined by my lovely co-hosts in the new decade. It's not the new decade yet. I forget what, doesn't the new decade start 2021? Anyway, my hosts, my lovely co-hosts, Lincoln Damerst, Eric Martin, W, and Steph Hodge. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
It has been a while since you've done this.
Yeah, I'm out of practice. I was trying to remember, what do I say when I start the show? I couldn't remember, but Derek reminded me.
That's right. You could have made new habits. You could have just forged ahead.
I could have made a new one, but it just feels so natural saying that.
Right. So what have you been up to? It's been a while. You have a new background behind you.
I do have new digs. I moved right after BGG Con. By the way, do not recommend moving after BGG Con. It destroyed us. So BGG Con ends on Sunday night. We took Monday off. We didn't do anything. We actually packed a little, very little. And then the movers came on Tuesday, and we were running our asses off for 40 hours. I recorded it all on my phone, or not, the steps and all the activity and all that stuff. We did not sit down for 40 hours after they came, except for Thanksgiving. We took Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was going to say, you forgot to mention it was just before Thanksgiving too. So
yeah,
hooray.
So we were not prepared to move. We had done some pre-packing, some purging. The mover was like, you should purge as much as you can. So, because I don't know if you're aware, I have about 4,000 board games at the house. Those have all now been moved to the Board Game Geek warehouse. New thing too. That's another thing we have not talked about on the show. So we moved all the games out because the movers were just like, yeah, that'll be a whole truck by itself. So I was like, let me just get rid of these temporarily. They're sitting at the warehouse. Not sure if they're coming back. I have a new plan. So anyway, besides the point. So we then moved for all week, and we moved in on Saturday after BGG Con. So
you forgot to mention all the moving before the con.
Yeah, so Lincoln knows a good part of that. So we were moving things before the con.
And during the con.
Board games all got packed by 5 teenagers, Jeff's son plus friends. And they did a great job. They just came in, and it's like they had no nostalgia for it. So they just put everything in the box, right? Like when I'm looking at stuff, packing, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that game. And so I was a very slow packer. I just like let it go. Let them do it. And I was just horrified for one, but they did a pretty good job packing stuff. I basically stepped in when I saw things getting crushed, or like putting the copy of Capes and Cowls at the bottom and sticking a Dominion card box on top of it. Like, no, wait, put that one. Just give me that one. And I took that one. Those little rare games that, who knows what they're worth. But yeah, it's all good. Have not unpacked anything yet. Well, clothes and jerseys. But yeah, most of our stuff is still in boxes. So yeah.
You also moved the warehouse from the hangar to the warehouse at the same time as your move.
Yes. So basically after BGG Con, all the stuff that went to the convention from the old warehouse, or I should say the hangar, we've mentioned the hangar before, went back to the new Board Game Geek building, which is 12,000 square feet. I can't remember exactly. 13,000 square feet, 14,000, something like that. Warehouse space and office space. So all of that stuff moved during the week after BGG Con. And then we moved a bunch before. And then when the BGG Con stuff came back, it went back to that warehouse. So now we're fully moved out of, I'm fully moved in my house, my old house, fully moved out of the old hangar. What else is new? What's up with you guys?
Eric and I started our crazy new convention schedule with Nuremberg, and those videos are going live. If you want to know what new games are coming up this year, you should follow the Board Game Geek Express channel, where all those videos are going up as we go. Yeah, we'll put some links up there too, for sure. Yeah,
somewhere. I'm trying
for sure, because it's great. You definitely see all the new things that are coming, and Eric and I still didn't see everything, and we tried really hard.
There's too much to see. And what's funny, of course, is we're publishing all these videos now. They will be live by the time you watch this video in some manner. I'm still trying to get covers for a lot of games where publishers were showing the games, but they don't have final art, or they do something, and basically you just have to take screenshots and use those in there. But we want to get all those up because by the time this is live, Lincoln will be in Cannes, France, covering the Festival International des Jeux for another 100 or so game overviews.
Yeah, I know. And we've got Rodney and Beth and Barry Doublet. Is that how you say his last name?
Doublé.
I mean, I would say Doublé too, but he's not French, but he's in France. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have some. We've already got a lot of stuff planned. I've already gotten messages from people that they did not get on the schedule and they want to get on. So
that's right. Forward those to me. I have been messaging people continually, and I keep getting people said I never got the message. So I don't know if they just weren't checking because they were on my mailing list. But we'll have a full schedule eventually.
For sure. And we'll have time to. We'll actually have enough people to go and do a little bit of scouting and see if there's anything we're missing as well, which is great because that's one of the things that was last year. We had Beth. And so Eric was able to go out and do some scouting occasionally. Hopefully this year. Eric's definitely better than the rest of us. I will tell you that right now. So it's sad that he's not going to be there. But, you know, it's true, though.
What's your technique, Eric? What do you do?
I mean, I think it's more, I've been doing this for more than a decade, and I just have had contacts with a lot of people. So they will recognize me. Somehow they won't respond to my email, but I'll go up to them and they'll be like, oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we'll get someone over there in a few minutes. And you just, okay, suddenly we have people on camera. That's been the experience now for 3 straight fairs at Con, where I would email people in advance to schedule things. We have a fairly open schedule, and then we just keep dropping people in the entire show. And eventually it's Sunday and you're packing to leave.
So everybody should watch the live stream because that's where all the interesting stuff happens. There's stuff that happens that doesn't make it to the video on YouTube. So you got to watch Twitch.
For sure, because we're running the entire time.
Yeah. So you get to see fun stuff like people getting glitter bombed.
There's goofiness and chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, little side interviews, little people just stopping by and talking. It's quite entertaining.
The French market as well seems to be more open in terms of showing prototypes. Often before things are finished, or they're in mid-development, or they're super rough. So you get to see things that are just sometimes intriguing, and they may or may not actually end up existing. So
again, follow the BoardGameGeek Express channel if you want to see all this stuff, because Eric tweets it all out and stuff like that with posts on BGG and stuff. A lot of stuff here, but it'd be a good thing if you subscribe to that channel.
It needs views, people. Like, if you want us to keep doing this stuff, you got to watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, we might stop doing it. That's all it is.
That's kind of the truth.
BoardGameGeek Express channel for YouTube. BoardGameGeek TV on Twitch. Twitch.tv/BoardGameGeek TV. Follow us.
Yeah, we've been actually live streaming. We've been deep into this puzzle game called the Wilson Wolfe Affair, and we've done 3 sessions of about
11 to 12 hours.
Yeah, of live streams of us. Believe me, it's not always compelling television because we're like deep in puzzles, but it's the right project for this type of show because it's definitely challenging, but it's really fun, and we interact with the audience. We're trying to do it every 2 weeks. This week is going to have should have been this Thursday, but it's going to be next Thursday because of me going to be in Con this year. So yeah,
I like that. Coming up next, another half hour at the top of our heads. That's right.
It's kind of the truth, but it's fun, and it's we've been having a good time, and the audience has been great.
Also, Steph, I know you've been working on some new videos. Why don't you tell us about those?
Oh yeah, I mean, so I've been working with the brothers Murph a little bit, and we've been doing 10 versus 10, where we talk about like a category on BGG that you can find, like roll and rights. That was one video that we did. So we had the top 10 BGG video listing that the rankings of all of the users of BGG input. So we had those 10 versus the Murph has 5 and I have 5, and we mix ours together to create our own top 10 as well. So it's a lot of fun because we learn about different games that, we like versus BGG. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't. So we've been working a lot on that. So we have a couple more coming up. We're recording this week, so that's exciting.
Any tips on what you guys are doing this time?
Oh, well, a couple of my favorite mechanics. Maybe tile placement.
Awesome.
Yes, I love tile placement. And the other one, I'll just leave it as a surprise.
Yeah, we'll look forward to this. The first one of these will be a week from this episode. So next Friday, the 28th, will be the next top 10 versus 10.
Yeah, the 3 amigos coming at you.
Yeah.
That's what we call ourselves because we're goofy and we're fun. So.
Yeah, fun show. I like it. And I like the format where you take the 10 of the BGG top 10, which is generated by the site. You're not making anything up.
Exactly.
And then compare and contrast. So, and obviously there's some overlap sometimes. Not usually, sometimes.
a lot of top games like Terraforming Mars have a lot of mechanics. So if we're doing a mechanic, well, that will
Terraform Mars
come in there a lot.
It's the kitchen sink of games.
Yeah.
And it is ranked. I think it moved up since we last broadcast. It moved up a rank. I think it's number three overall
right
now.
It doesn't much surprise me.
Gloomhaven, watch out. Mars is coming for you.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Well, it's definitely Terraforming Mars has maybe broader appeal than Gloomhaven.
I would think so.
Yeah. It's 40 hours versus 3.
Well,
I mean, you don't have to.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Before I forget, I wanted to say that we're all going to be at BGG Spring, and you should be too. Come play with us over Memorial Day weekend, which is May 22nd to the 25th. So it starts on Friday, ends on Monday night. We'll all be there. We have all the games from Essen. We'll have a bunch of new stuff from Kickstarter. I mean, by the way, moving lets me know how many packages I don't have because I have to still drive to the old place to pick them up. There's a lot, people. A lot of games coming out, even though it's not a big release time right now. Kickstarter is a big release time. So join us for that. Tickets are still on sale. I believe there are still hotel rooms too, but that will not last. BGG Spring is getting big now. So book soon. Don't wait.
And this is still at the Hyatt's Regency by DFW.
So let's avoid confusion. 100% DFW, Hyatt, Regency in the DFW airport.
Yeah, because if it's at the fall, it's at the ball.
Falls at the ball downtown. But we're not going to mention that. Anybody driving downtown. Because that's a 40 minute drive back and forth. Follow the BGG Con Twitter. Follow the Board Game Geek Twitter. Follow me. I don't know. No, actually, no, I don't tweet. So
follow me, you get nothing.
Follow Eric. Follow Steph.
You don't retweet or anything, at least?
I should. I'm bad with Twitter. Like, I'm very like a Facebook person because I don't know.
Right.
I'm weird.
This is a crazy year for Eric and I. We have Gamma Trade Show coming up after FIJ.
Wait.
Yep.
If you're following on Twitter, this is going live Friday, February 21st. On the 22nd and 23rd, I will be at New York Toy Fair. I'm not making
that's right, another one
with Lincoln. I will be at Toy Fair tweeting all sorts of pictures of crazy stuff being shown.
More new games.
Yes, we're actually. I feel really good that we are actually covering 2 shows at once.
For sure.
Like, hey, that's kind of neat.
Progress.
Yes.
So yeah, we go to the Gamma Trade Show. At that show, it's going to be Rodney, Chaz, Eric, Derek, myself, and John Cox from John Gets Games. That's
a big team.
Gamma Expo now, right? Not Gamma Trade Show. And that is, I think, the 9th or something. Starts around the 9th or something of March. And then we go at the end of April to the Tokyo Game Mart, right? Yeah, all these names.
3 days after Niagara Falls.
Well, but we go to Niagara Falls, but we don't report from that.
No, we don't report. But you're going to be flight to flight.
It's 2 weeks home. It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks back. Except between Niagara Falls and Game Market, I have 2 days home, and then I already booked the tickets. And then we've got BGG Con. Then we have Origins, and that's at the beginning of June. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. It is really a crazy year.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Lots of new stuff. So you really should follow the Board Game Geek Express channel because you're going to see all those videos there.
Yes, please subscribe.
And the Twitch TV. I mean, we're pushing the point, but it's true. If you want to know about new games, that's the best place to learn because that's the only place that we post all of those videos.
That's right. We already have the Gamma Expo schedule about 80% full. We'll be broadcasting a little over 2 days. We start on Tuesday. We run full days on Wednesday and Thursday, and those are mostly full. We got a lot of quick response from U.S. publishers.
Well, that's great. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they have. It's going to be a bunch of different stuff because we didn't see that many U.S. publishers at Nuremberg, and I'm certain we aren't going to see them at Cannes. So you kind of need to see all of these shows to see all the things that are coming throughout the year. And it's crazy because, we're seeing many things that are very, very preliminary, and they will be out at the end of the year. So it is a tremendous amount of stuff.
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming. I actually saw the video. I didn't know they were coming out with an expansion to the War of the Ring. That was quite interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I thought that game was done.
Did you get to see the video for the Dodo one?
Dodo is awesome.
I cannot believe that game. I cannot wait to get it. Did you see that one, Steph?
No, but it sounds amazing.
It's a mystery ball.
It's Marco Teubner, is that right? Teubner, the designer of My First Stone Age. He designed this game for KOSMOS, and you are trying to save like the last Dodo egg. And it comes down this mountainscape, and when they did it, they didn't tell us anything. Eric and I are watching. They lift the little Dodo. The Dodo looks down the mountain to see what's going on, and the egg slides out and it starts going down the mountain, and there's these ramps. And you have to roll the dice and remember, because you flip it over, it's not what you need. You flip it over, you roll the die, it shows the result. You have to find the tile that matches it. Then you put it on the ramp on the mountain so that the Dodo egg continues to move down. The Dodo egg would it was like moving very weirdly. I'm like, what's going on?
It moves and stops, and it moves and stops.
And then it'll go fast.
It's fascinating.
It's really amazing.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
You gotta. I'm not gonna explain how it works. I was very excited when I saw how it actually works. I'm like, wow, low tech awesomeness. But it's really amazing.
Oh man, I gotta play that.
Well, you're gonna love the cover. It's real gorgeous.
Oh yes, I love that too.
I wonder if it'll be. Is it out? Oh, is it out anytime soon, or is it going to be?
I believe KOSMOS is releasing all its early titles in March, because I talked with them about My City, and that's sometime in March, with the English one following probably a couple months later.
I would imagine that this game is going to be up for a Kinderspiel. It's really amazing. And it looks like a lot of fun. It's a cooperative game. You're all working to keep the egg safe, but not falling to the ground. And it goes all the way down to the mountain. Then you have to assemble the boat to catch it. And it's increasing amount of pieces that you need to build it. It's really great. And you can actually make it more difficult. It's got like a single spot on the early ones, and then an additional one if you want to make it more difficult to roll 2 types of goods to get it to make the piece that you need to keep the egg safe.
This is a real-time game too.
Yes.
Like that ball doesn't stop moving.
No, not at all.
If it falls off the cliff, you just lose.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no.
That's cool. Yeah, that should be a fun video. So before we go on to like industry news, of which we don't really have a ton because there's been a ton. Where do you start? I wanted to say BoardGameGeek channel on YouTube, the one you're watching right now, has how do you pronounce it? How do you say it? Exceeded 100,000 subscribers. So thank you.
Yes.
That's awesome. That was super exciting. It happened right at the end of the year. In fact, it happened. It was going to happen on New Year's Eve, and something I did to the channel made it go backwards. Oops, sorry.
Whoops.
By the way, don't publish 7 videos in a row when you want like 5 subscribers to break 100,000. Like that doesn't work because you lose subscribers. By the way,
7 videos that are 7 hours long.
7-hour long videos. Well, I wanted to get them out before the end of the year. It was some live streams that we'd done earlier in the year, and I published them all on New Year's Eve. And then I called Link and I go, I think we were within 100 away from 100,000.
Less than, yeah.
And then I said, we're 200 away. So sorry. So it won't happen tonight.
I don't think it was that extreme, but it was still like,
it was pretty
funny.
Extreme. It was close. And then it went backwards. Like, okay, I screwed up.
Live and learn.
Well, you guys missed out. Those people that are unsubscribed, you're missing out all the good stuff.
It's true. And you should just subscribe to the BoardGameGeek Express channel if you want to see all the new games.
You got to subscribe to this channel too.
People are getting on, but the funny thing is we don't talk about it enough. I think that's really the reality.
Yeah, because and we flood it, by the way, so you're gonna get a flooded.
Yeah,
inbox,
you're gonna get.
So.
You should probably. I mean, if you want to know about new games, turn on notifications. That's all I can tell you. But the thing is this is where we're gonna put that information. It used to be we launched this last year, I think around March or April. And it's gaining subscribers, but it really is the place to see all the new games. That's exactly what all this convention coverage is, and that's where it's all going. Of course, it's awesome to watch the live stream, but we're 9 hours, 6 hours or 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, and it's 6 hours and 9 for me. And then Japan is 16 hours ahead of me and 19 hours ahead of Eric, I guess, or I don't know. I don't. All this is confusing. I think I know time zones, but then when I try to book a flight, who knows?
Yeah. All right, Eric. What do we have for industry? What's the biggest story you think of last year?
The biggest story that's happened since our last show is the announcement of Asmodee's purchase of Repos Production. famous Belgian publisher, best known for Seven Wonders and Just One. Repo has been in business since 2004. It's a long time. It's a long history, and it's they were there at the first spiel I attended. I feel this real connection to them just because I've seen them start with almost nothing, just Santiano, and then Cash and Guns right after that, and then grow continuously since then. And Asmodee has purchased them. The founders of the company, well, Cedric Coman is going on and starting, I believe, a different studio. And Thomas Provost is working with Asmodee, and he's kind of the studio overseer who is now doing what he did at Repo, but for all the studios. And we talked with him for a few minutes in Nuremberg, and it was really interesting how he is talking about, he's kind of the oversight to look at all the games that are coming out and see how they can do things either smoother or more efficiently, or remove complications, or do all the types of things that Repo did, where they would take a raw design and they just develop it continuously for months and just make it awesome. So that's his role now for all the different Asmodee studios. So we'll be seeing a couple of Repo titles on the live stream from Cannes, titles coming out in 2020. Such as a new version of Belratti by Michael Roth that was released in 2008. And it really has been improved. I don't know if I think everyone here has played Belratti, but the new version has it's streamlined and better compared to what was originally published, even though the original game was good. So it's fascinating to see the little tweaks come out for designs like this.
The old one was really fun. It took us all by surprise. We immediately bought like 50 copies to bring home. I'm not lying. And then I played the new one, and I like it more as a game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's smoother, and I like the theme. I mean, the new theme is different. It's all different, and I like it. I don't know if that's been announced, so I won't say it. But we'll probably by this time it'll be on the live stream in Cannes. But
Sunday.
I actually loved the joy of Belratti getting some crazy match, right? And that's completely removed from the game, essentially. I mean, you still can have a crazy match because now that comes from the other player's hands. But yeah, they develop the heck out of games and they make them really, really good. So without a doubt, it's probably a better game. So
it's less random, I guess, is what.
Well, they didn't like that part at all.
And a lot of people who I played with thought it was a terrible way to lose, right? Because you just luck of the draw, you can just lose.
It's a quick game, though. I don't know. That's why it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't like Belratti,
but it's a different theme, which actually is kind of fun. And there's another meta element to the whole game on top of that that's pretty clever. So hopefully it'll do well.
Oh, the one that caught my eye from your Nuremberg report was the roll and write with cards. Is that a video? Yeah, I was at the game.
Would that be this game that I'm holding up? I didn't know if we were talking about games or not. So
we should talk a little bit about games, because why not? We're a game channel.
I'm excited. I wanted a copy of that too. They had Eric had to go the last day to get one that was left over because they were out of them.
Were they selling them? No, they were just giving them to their partners or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they don't sell at the show. So most of the games that we get, we end up buying them at Ultra Comics or something like that, unless by chance. Amigo's the only ones that generally has stuff, and maybe others, but not a lot, because they're giving them out for the press people and things like that, and the retailers and stuff. So
okay, well, why don't we just jump into our game talk? Everybody's favorite segment. What have you been playing, Eric? I'm dying to hear about this game.
Oh, hey,
I'm sure Steph is too. It's one of her games, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's right.
I really want to play it.
So you will not be able to pronounce the name of this game unless you are German. Men muss auch Können. I cannot say it. Willie at Schmidt made fun of me each time I said it. He just had this incredulous look on his face.
And then he would say it where it sounded almost exactly the same you just said it. So I don't know.
That's right. But to German ears, no.
To our ears, it sounds the same, but to theirs, it doesn't sound anything correct.
It is not the same at all.
Not wrong. Not right.
So this is a roll and write game along the lines of Pretty Clever. In that it is somewhat more involved than a standard roll and write game. At the beginning of the game, you are going to get 2 scoring cards and 2 bonus cards. You throw one of them away, so you keep only 3 cards, and you arrange them in some manner in a 3x3 grid, so they all have to be touching. So Each scoring card gives you some ability to score points, but you must activate that card first by completing what's shown up top. Bonus cards give you some bonus for use during the game, but again, you must complete what's up top. The trick, though, is that you can write things into these boxes on your own turn only if you can complete a card. You have to fill in all the slots, not just some of them. So if you're looking at this, that's impossible because there are only 5 dice in the game. How would you fill this in? Well, on other people's turns, you're going to roll the dice. They're going to keep some of them or possibly all of them. And then if they re-roll, everyone else gets to use one of those dice that is re-rolled. And if they re-roll a second time, you can use one of those dice again. And that's how you will fill in these spots here until eventually you can hopefully fill it in on your own turn. So you have an incentive not to re-roll because then that gives other players more opportunities to do something, but you must re-roll unless you can buy a card by having 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind of dice, or you can fill in one of your own cards. If you can do either of those, you can end your turn early and shaft the other people. But if not, they're going to keep getting stuff. And at the end of your turn, if you still can't complete a card, you can use 2 of the dice that you've rolled and mark those spots on your cards, or you can just draw a card off the top of the deck and add it to your display. You don't know what you're getting, and that's good and bad because there's different ways to score based on what's adjacent to what and what colors you have and so forth and so on, what things are completely activated in your grid. And when someone buys a card and fills in their grid so the 3x3 grid is full, that starts the end game where you complete that round, you have one more complete round, and then you score points. But you only score based on what you've activated, what you've completed. And you can only use bonuses during the game for what you've activated. So it's this real balance of trying to get the right things to combo it together and, you know, get things worked out. It's very well done. Yeah. It's very good. So
and is it dry erase markers on the cards? Or are they sleeves?
It's dry erase markers. Yep, on the cards themselves. Okay. Yeah, and that's it.
What does that name translate to?
He said it doesn't really have an English equivalent, but it's kind of like you're doing things for other people. Oh, like you must give things away. Essentially,
I love that like sometimes German words don't have English versions of things.
Yeah, it's just an idiom that, like, every single trip that we make to the Zoc booth, every time all their games have puns in them or some sort of wordplay, and then they have to be like, well, how would we say that in English? And it's always just some elaborate, you know, play on German culture or history or just something that makes perfect sense to every German and to everyone else. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, Andreas admitted that they were, you know, it's a stretch for their clever puns.
Okay. Yeah, but they keep at it. Yeah.
Who was the designer on that one?
Können, which is available through Amazon DE. If you don't want to wait for an English version, there's been no English version announced. I don't know if one will come or not.
That'll get snapped up.
I surmise it will be Stronghold, or at least I hope so.
Oh, I don't know. That's the inside of the box. It looks very much like they must be clever. Your box will not come with another game tucked underneath, but when I was packing to come home, naturally that space fit this title from Helvetic, so you have to fit games everywhere.
Within games.
Oh, I mentioned I still have to record this video, but I plan to post the video. It should be live by the time the show is live. For Nidavellir, title from GRRRE Games that's going to debut at the Fair and Con, which is why I wanted to do a video, but I've been doing the con schedule instead. It's a very cool simultaneous bidding game where you're trying to build up an army of dwarves in order to get a strong army, and you're drafting heroes on the side while trying to increase your bidding power by Serge Laget. It's very cool. So there you go.
Is there mining in the game?
There is no mining.
Oh, dwarf game with no mining.
You have coins and you're bidding over 3 rounds to get dwarves that are available. And then as you complete a row of the 5 type of dwarves, you get to draft a hero that's set aside. There's like 20 different heroes, all with different special abilities and powers and things like that, that you put into your army, and then you try to build this giant army where you want breadth of everything, so you get bonus heroes, and you want depth of everything, because usually the scoring is much better as you add things up. But of course, you can't get it all. So
that's the best thing in games. Can't get it all. Can't have it all, Eric.
That's right.
All right, who's next? Steph, what have you been playing?
Oh my goodness, I have been playing all the games.
Okay, that's the summary.
I haven't been on the BGG show since before Essen, so literally all the Essen games, everything. The game that sticks out the most for me, I got to learn at BGG Con. It was Maracaibo. Now, the rules took me like 2 hours to get through. It was pretty rough. But once I got through that, playing the game was such an enjoyable experience. And I have since played like 5 times, which is kind of unheard of because I kind of played just once almost. And because I play so much. But this one I'm drawn to. Now, I think Aldi also got to play it. But
yeah.
It's a pretty heavy game. I mean, you are doing a lot of things. You're building up your engine of cards, and you're moving around almost like a rondel. There's 4 rounds, and you're going to these different islands with your boat. Each island space, you can activate you could do different actions, or you can fulfill a quest maybe. But you're trying to upgrade your boat and complete these different goals. And there's just a lot of planning and battles to have. And there's so much critical thinking that you have to do. And I just love these kinds of games where you are just like constantly planning on what you're going to do. And if somebody takes that, then what do I do? And then do I rush it to the end? Because if you trigger the whole lap, then everybody else basically has one turn to finish that round. And so you want to do all these different things by getting your cards down to generate income. And I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. I was amazed by how much game was in there. Like, there's a lot of different things to do. It's not just one thing, right? You have like
right, and so there's also like a story mode. So in a campaign style, each game you'll do a different chapter, and there's different objectives and things that are happening with the board. So I've only played chapter 1 in the basic game, and I just can't wait to play more chapters. Like.
So you can force the timing of things? Like, if you're ahead, you can just rush towards the end and then cut off everyone else?
Essentially. So each turn you're moving your boat 1 to 7 spaces. So you can't just do that in the first move, for example. But it will take probably, you could do it in 3 moves, or you could just go step by step and take it slower pace. But you kind of have to be on pace with what everybody else is doing. If you see someone getting close to the end, well, maybe you want to speed up a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So. Well, this might be Alexander Pfister might actually win a Golden Geek this year. You should go watch our 20th anniversary, which we didn't mention. More BGG news.
Oh God, how many things do we have this year? 20th anniversary.
But we have a anniversary video where Wolfgang Warsch and Alexander Pfister were talking about how much they appreciated BGG, and Wolfgang has a chest of medals, and Alexander does not have one. So come on, people.
He gets it because it's so good. And
that's
he deserves
okay.
It.
He does deserve it.
Here's the biggest problem. It came out in 2019 and it has not come out in America yet, right? It's harder to get, as I understand it.
It came out and then sold out. So I think it's like a reprint is happening, and it's going to be available in maybe March is what I think it was, or April. So hopefully soon, because I don't have a copy yet and I just want to play more.
I think I've played it 3 times. I've only played that base game, no story.
Yeah, you got to try the story. It's really
try the story, yeah, which is neat because it alters the board.
The group gets to decide what happens. Do we go this way or this way? And there's different resolutions depending on what you choose.
And I was incredulous, like Eric. Like, wait, I can go around the board 3-4 times and not like that's the game. Like, why would anybody go that fast, right? And why wouldn't you just take step by step? Because every time you take a step, you get to do something. But some people just speeds up the game.
I'll mention this again. So this game ends, right? You trigger the last round when you fill your grid. So if you're ahead, you might just be like, I'm just buying cards. I don't care. And if you can fill it up fast enough, but of course other people might be.
Oh, you don't have to complete them. You just have to fill it.
You just have to fill it.
Oh.
And that doesn't mean that everything's checked off and activated. But if I am the only one who has an active scoring card, then I'm ahead of everyone else. But of course, can I buy enough things and fill up my board before other people check off things and sort of catch up with me?
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, not that those games are similar.
Well, Maracaibo, I guess they share in that speed element, right? Like,
yeah.
Sometimes it's good to go fast. Sometimes it's not. It just depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a quest that you really want in Maracaibo, so you have to go further so nobody else gets it before you. Because somebody else might make that 7-move jump to get it. Or you could do it now just to make sure you get it. So that's kind of where the timing happens, because you want to be first, but you don't want to go too fast, but you want to be first.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of delicious choices. What do you call it? Just decisions. It's so fun. Yeah, and that definitely stood out for me. I've been pretty curmudgeonly about the games that come out this year, but that's definitely up near the top for me.
Are you a jaded gamer now?
I don't know. Or if the games are not as good as they used to be. I'm not sure. Could be me.
That's right. Or
could be me.
Or you're just upset still from moving.
I bet that's it.
That's probably it.
Could be. I'm on a short fuse.
Nothing
Who made
is worth
this
it.
rule?
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, Alexander Pfister. Why'd you make this rule? No, it's been different things. I don't know. So I'll go next. My game that I've been obsessed with is Clank Legacy. It has a high price tag, so I'm guessing it might keep it from being like, although I don't know why. It's $100 MSRP, I think.
Wow.
But you can get it cheaper for that, a little cheaper, I think, something like, or 90. So it is a bit of a pricey game, but you do get to play it a bunch. I think there's 10 games in a campaign, and then you can just keep playing that board with Clank the way you've bonified it. Every game that goes by makes me more and more excited for the next game. I don't know. There's just so many things in it, and it's written by the gentleman at Penny Arcade, and they are very, very funny. Like I don't think I've ever laughed out loud more times than in any other game than this one. Like there's some laugh out loud, just weird, sarcastic, dry, and it's fantasy humor. Like if you know fantasy stuff, they make fun of it, and it's great. The legacy part is very cool. I have not won a single game yet, which is kind of bad in this game because you advance your character by winning. So I've not advanced at all, which is kind of shocking. Because Clank is kind of like, it's a serious game, but there's definitely some luck, right? It's a deck building game. The cards come up or they don't in the right order. You know, if you have to move a space and you don't have a move and you have to wait another turn, that can really, hammer you. But the comedy and the fun, seeing what's next, and all these funny quests come out, and stuff that's very like unclankish. Like if you know Clank, if you think you know Clank, you don't really know Clank because you can do all this other stuff. Like I don't know all the expansions of Clank, so maybe this is stuff that's been done. But for me, it's fresh and one of my favorite legacies I've ever played, which is Shock. I'm shocking.
So is it a standalone game or?
It is.
Do you need base game? Okay.
Nope, you don't need anything. You just play from that. Yeah.
Cool.
And it has all the cool legacy stuff. You get to tune your deck. You get to name characters. You get to name cities. All that fun stuff. So, of course, we have, like, ridiculously obscene names for cities and stuff. I won't mention. But, yeah, so good stuff. Good legacy. I was kind of legacied out. Queensdale, I was kind of like, okay, good. It was great. But I don't want to play any more legacy games. However, Clank broke it. Like, I'm excited to play legacy games again. And now I want to play Reiner Knizia's legacy game, which I am surprised he's making one, which is awesome.
I know. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Lincoln, what have you been playing?
We've been busy. We played a lot of games, mostly the live stream though, which is crazy. I mean, but we did get a chance to play a few games this last weekend. We played the 5-Minute Dungeon, which is a mass market game that is really quite fun. It is like 5 minutes. You're supposed to do it 5 quests that last 5 minutes a piece. You have a timer, and you're all just trying to satisfy defeat the monsters of the obstacles or the bosses in the dungeon, and they're just flipped over and you're throwing the cards in, and it's actually really, really fun. You have ways to manipulate how others can draw more cards, or you can draw more cards, or you have cards that might be able to kill a monster or defeat an obstacle. And it's pretty clever and pretty fun. It was not nominated, but it was recommended for the SDJ a couple years ago in KOSMOS's edition of it. The other game we got to play, which I really like but is challenging, is Video Vortex from Mondo. It is a neat deck builder that has a fun theme, that has some disconnects with the theme somewhat, and but it is really, really neat. The biggest challenge for that game is every term that you know in deck building games has been changed. So there is your power, your life, everything's got a different term. And not that that's really a big deal, except it is a big deal because sometimes you're looking at a card and it's telling you to do something. And you're like, well, what is this term? Why is this term here? But it's still really great. And the art is fantastic. It's Boneface that did the art. I really, really like it. I've played it a couple times. I played it at the BGG retreat last month, and then I got to play it on the show just recently. Hopefully it'll become an episode. I don't know. I'll tell you. It was definitely, there was some challenges. We had
I watched that episode, and it was a challenging.
Yeah.
There was rules problems, not problems, but questions. We had to go look up the rules, and then all the terminology got people confused. But it's a cool game. I want to play it. Art is fantastic. The theme is really cool. It's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's the Y2K actually happened and everything got screwed up, and so these people they developed their interests or their followings based on a videos that they found at some place called the Video Vortex. And I mean, there's like 5 pages.
It was a rental place, right?
Yes.
Like a video rental store.
Well, it was. Well, hopefully that becomes an episode because Dave's intro was hilarious. I'll tell you this one bit because I really don't want to go into all the technical aspect of it. But your life is your playtime. So you have a cassette that you are, and you don't die. This is the one thing I should say about the game. You're battling each other and you're trying to kill each other, but you don't die. You just reset and then you start over again. So you're trying to get these trophies. So it kind of removes the pain of being attacked. The only issue is like if you have, they can steal your trophies if they need your trophy, and that's kind of rough. But it's so lightweight. But the neat thing is like my character was squishy, right? He was able to be. It was only 35 minutes of playtime or whatever, versus some that had 50. I was a vampire. I was obviously Bela Lugosi. The art is really great. You have to look at it, and so I could suck back playtime more easily than some others could. I mean, a lot of card play can do that as well, but it's really clever and really, really beautiful.
I did like the aspect of that. Not when you get damaged, it doesn't set you back.
No, you just play the playtime through and then start over.
Yeah. So you really, and another weird thing, but interesting about the game is that when you kill somebody by fast forwarding them, if you don't get the kill, you don't get credit. Like you could do all 99% of the damage, and then the next person plays and kills them. They get
that
the credit.
Set up the game for one of the players. I mean, I essentially did a tremendous amount of damage on Dave, and then the next player was able to take him out, and that basically set the pace that we all had to struggle with beyond that. But that's cool. I actually like that. Yeah. I also like the way that the card play works, though. Like there's actions that you'll get if you play cards of similar types, so that you can deal more damage. And there's cards that will protect you, so you have to take those out before you can damage the person. And there's cards that will continue to be in play that you can just activate every turn, even though they're expensive to get going. But it's really, really a lot of neat little mechanisms. And I guess it's designed by people that aren't traditionally board game designers. So it has some different ideas in it, which is really cool.
Right. It's people who don't really know all the deck building stuff that's already been done. I mean, they must know some, but all the ideas were pretty fresh and new, and a good twist on the deck building game.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, the games sound pretty great. I'm excited for all the new stuff coming out. And to wrap up the episode, wanted to mention, we mentioned it before, but we did hit our 20th anniversary or birthday, as Rodney says. An amazing video was created by Lincoln and Derek. Who else? Mostly you guys, right?
It was the two of us.
Yeah.
But lots of contributions from people.
Contributions from many people in the community, many other content creators, publishers, designers, all that. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's here.
Yeah.
Whichever corner I point to, I don't know which one it is. And I'm humbled by that video. Like I did have tears when I first watched it, and it was really cool. So here's to another 20, everybody. Thank you, everybody that contributed and everybody who didn't. You know, everybody's been part of this community. It's everybody.
Absolutely.
We don't want to turn anybody away from this awesome thing that we do called Board Games and Board Game Geek. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Lincoln and Derek, for making that and getting that put together on our 20th anniversary. We had our first Board Game Geek retreat, which I should mention. We all came to Dallas and hung out and played some games and talked Board Game Geek stuff for 3 days straight. And it was pretty exciting what we came up with. I should mention that right now we're in the final steps of redoing the forums, thankfully, after all these years. And you can use them on your cell phone. So if you want to get into that, go search on the forums for, what do they call it? Responsive threads or responsive forums, I think. And you can sign up and take a look at that. So that's exciting. Plus all the hundreds of other ideas we had. Hopefully we can get some of them out there to everybody. I'm excited to see what we can do. Yeah, so there you go. And that wraps up another episode of the Board Game Geek Show. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm Aldi. Thank you to my lovely co-hosts, Lincoln Damerst, Eric Martin, and Steph Hodge. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.